Well, when Jordan and I were first married and I was pregnant and had my first baby, it wasn't very long. It might have been a couple of months, but George came home and told me he was lonely and that we needed to spend more time together. And I told him that I wasn't very lonely, that I had a little baby, and that I felt I was pretty overwhelmed with the physical relationship as well as the lack of sleep and the amazement at the fact that I had a baby. So it was pretty fulfilling in many ways. But because I wanted our relationship and our marriage to be good, I had to think about it. And so my initial thoughts were, well, before we were married, we had dates. And so I think that if we organized dates, like you asking me out on a date, but we're going to have a baby, we're going to have this date at home, that this would work. And he said that he thought that that would take the spontaneity out of it, because he thought maybe now that we were married, that spontaneously we should be uh, amorous, that should just come about in a natural way. And it does to some extent. But, there are birthdays and Christmas and Easter. There are many things that are built into the Christian calendar that we can look forward to. We can do the same thing in our marriage. And like you said, something to look forward to. Even this morning, I would say my husband has a lot of daunting things that he has to do, a list that went on and on and on. And so he was talking to me today, and I said something. Did I say, uh, he said he wanted to meet me at 11 or something. And I said I didn't have time for that. And neither did he, because he had a podcast, I think. I said, but you're looking for something to look forward to. Yeah. And he said, yes. And I said, oh, okay. Well, we can organize something for you to look forward to. And so, so tonight we're going to go out for dinner. We can do that. We don't have any kids at home. We can go out for dinner and we can have a date. And so we'll have a date after that. And, but we negotiated that and we agreed for that. And it takes some humility to see it from the other person's point of view. Maybe for me, I have other things planned. And maybe I've planned them for myself and no one else is even involved. Well, maybe I could give up my self-serving plan and try to include my spouse in the little bit of time that it's going to take to play some music and dance together. It's just not that he's not asking that much, really, is he? And it's not as if I'm not going to enjoy myself. So I'm kind of a disagreeable person and he's not. He's quite an agreeable person, but he's a man, so he's probably more disagreeable than me. But for a woman, I'm fairly disagreeable. And so I'm a little less apt to admit that I need a cuddle, or that I need, because I'm kind of disagreeable. So I'm, kind of ready to take care of myself rather than to asking for someone else to take part in that. Whereas he's more willing to ask from me. He's a very extroverted person. He's really asking for me to take that time for himself and for me. And it's good for me to take that into consideration, to see if I can make it work, and if I can make it work, to actually make it work. And then, actually, I've done something for someone, and that is really the Christian message, is to do unto others as you would, have them do for you. So it's those things that we have, those small prayers that we have learned, they're true. They're true at a deep level. We just have to find the kind of superficial understanding of those that happen in our daily lives and put them into practice. And then we find the depth in our relationships that we had always hoped and dreamed for.